Yo, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Aisha Scare, the new Trials Pulse Rifle. Is this Pulse Rifle actually good? What are the best perks that can roll on it? And the ones that you should be looking for if you're looking for a god roll? What makes it special? And lastly, ultimately, is it actually worth the grind? Is it worth you going into Trials and trying to get this weapon? But first, before we get to any of that, we gotta talk about how to actually get this weapon. You can get this weapon from ranking up Saint to rank 10, reaching rank 10 in Trials. Or if you're watching this video the weekend this video went live, well, you can go into Trials and play matches, and at the end of each match, you have a chance to get the Aisha Scare. Whenever it is the weekly weapon, every win has a chance of just straight up dropping it at the end of the match. And I think that's just much easier than getting to rank 10. I know, because that's what I did last week. So if you guys really want this weapon, I definitely recommend that you get in there this week. It's just going to be a much easier way to unlock it this way. And once you unlock it, you could focus it at Saint with your Trials Engrams. So the Aisha Scare is a heavy burst pulse rifle. There's not really many heavy burst pulse rifles in the game right now, so that itself already makes it kind of unique. And it's also an Omolon weapon, meaning that it comes with the Omolon origin trait, Omolon fluid dynamics. This weapon has increased reload speed and stability for the top half of the magazine. And that is a really good origin trait, probably one of the best ones in the game. You get 30 reload speed, 20 stability for the 50% of the magazine. And it's very nice and very noticeable, especially on a weapon like this. Now this weapon, I won't lie to you guys, is definitely tailored more towards Crucible. Most of the good perks are going to be tailored towards the Crucible. There is still some good PvE perks. If you guys are wondering if you can use this thing in PvE, there is some good PvE perks, but definitely not as many as there are Crucible perks. So I'm just kind of giving you a heads up before we get too deep into the perks, because that's the next thing that we're taking a look at. Let's take a look at the perks, and we're going to be starting off from the barrels and working our way to the trade perks, like we always do. So let's start off with the barrel and the mag perks. Now for the barrel, this is what we have. We have arrowhead break, chamber compensator, corkscrew rifling, extended barrel, fluted barrel, full bore, hammer forged rifling, polygonal rifling, and lastly small bore. I would say that these pulse rifles, the heavy burst pulse rifles, already have some really good base range. I mean, this weapon already starts with 80 base range, so you definitely don't have to prioritize range on these pulse rifles as much as you do on some other pulse rifles. So that being said, I think the best barrels you could go for are either corkscrew rifling, which gives you some stability, some handling, and a bit of range, or if you want to go full in on handling, which is one of the weaker stats on this pulse rifle, you want to go with the fluted barrel. It gives you plus 5 stability, plus 15 range. Is gonna make this weapon feel so much more responsive and just nice to handle. All that extra handling is gonna make this weapon feel much better and a lot more responsive and snappy. Like I said, that is like the one stat that these pulse rifles don't really have a lot of. They lack quite a bit of handling, so you definitely want to increase that. Now moving on to the mag, we have extended mag, alloy magazine, appended mag, armor piercing rounds, high caliber rounds, ricochet rounds, threaded mag roll, and lastly light mag. For this, you are definitely looking for ricochet or high cal. I would say ricochet wins out a little bit more for me because of that extra stability, but high cal with this extra flinch is also pretty nice. For PvE, you're definitely looking for appended or extended, just something that increases your magazine. I would say appended a little more since it increases your mag, but it doesn't take any reload speed away. And now let's actually move on to the meat and potatoes of the video, the trade perks. Of course, we love our trade perks, so let's take a look at them, and let's start with perk 1. So this is what we have for the first perk. We have keep away, send moment, slice, gut shot straight, encore, to the pain, and under pressure. And that's one thing that you're gonna see in both slots. There's really good perks all over the place. There's so many different combinations we're gonna be able to make with this pulse rifle. It's kind of insane. But my top Crucible perks for this slot will definitely have to be Keep Away or Send Moment. Keep Away is going to give us that extra accuracy and range. We're already going to be playing at the range where Keep Away is always active with this pulse rifle, meaning that we're always going to be taking advantage of that extra range and extra accuracy. Keep Away just by itself almost matches out our range, and it's the reason that we don't really focus the range with like our barrel. And that extra accuracy is just amazing. Definitely something that we need with this weapon. We want to make it as accurate as possible, and Keep Away helps us with that. Now Send Moment is going to reduce our recoil and also give us some flinch resistance, and it's also a very good perk. It makes this weapon feel super stable. Once you start doing some damage, this thing becomes a laser beam. One of the rules that I was playing with did have Send Moment and makes this weapon just feel amazing. It's just crazy stable with Send Moment. It's going to make landing those headshots back to back just super easy. And before I move on to the PvE perks on this slot, I want to give a special mention to the Pain. To the Pain is a perk that I haven't really looked at too much since we've been looking at a bunch of PvE weapons, but specifically on this weapon, To the Pain is actually not that bad. Whenever we take some damage, we get a huge boost to our handling and also our aim assist. Two very good stats in this weapon. So To the Pain, I would say is okay, not as good as Send Moment or Keep Away, but it's still okay, and it does make the weapon feel better with that extra handling. Now if you're thinking of taking this pulse rifle into PvE, you're looking for Slice. It's gonna be the best PvE perk. You're able to sever very easily with this weapon after only using class ability. Sever is a really strong debuff in PvE. Not only are you gonna be able to do more damage by unraveling a target, but they're also gonna be outputting less damage. You know, Sever is just really good, and if you can get Slice on a primary weapon, it's usually pretty good. And it's the same case with this pulse rifle. If you're looking for a PvE perk, it's definitely Slice. And now let's move on to the second trait perk, and this is what we have. First we have Hatchling, Kill Clip, Collective Action, Desperado, Golden Tricorn, Head Seeker, and Moving Target. Now we have a lot of good options here for the Crucible, but I think the best ones are definitely going to be Collective Action, Desperado, or Head Seeker. Head Seeker is going to give us more aim assist whenever we hit a body shot, and it will also increase our precision multiplier, meaning that we gotta do some more headshot damage. This one just pretty much is so it makes the weapon feel a little more consistent, a little better. That's what Head Seeker is for. So if you want a consistent weapon, then Head Seeker is gonna be it. Next up we have Collective Action, and I know Collective Action is a bit of a weird pick, but let me tell you that Collective Action now with Prismatic is much better. With Collective Action, whenever you pick up an elemental pickup, so let's say the Fire Sprites, the Void Breaches, the Stasis Shards, the Ionic Traces, the Tangles, whenever you pick up any of those, you get a 10% damage boost in Crucible. And with Prismatic, it feels like it's easier than ever to have elemental pickups, meaning that you can have that 10% damage increase pretty often. The 10% damage increase won't do too much for your TTK. It basically just makes it so it's a little more forgiving. You go from requiring 6 headshots to kill somebody to basically use 5. So Collective Action will just make it a little easier to reach that optimal TTK. Now Desperado on the other hand is gonna reduce our TTK to 0.67. This is the perk that's gonna reduce your TTK the most. You wanna use kill as fast as you can with the Aishas, then Desperado is gonna be the way to go. It'll drop your TTK all the way to 0.67. So the shots to kill stay the same, but you do gotta remember that you are gonna be shooting faster while Desperado is procced. So those 4 perks are gonna be the best ones when it comes to Crucible for this weapon. Desperado, you wanna lower your TTK as low as it can go. Collective Action, if you use one a damage buff that's easy to proc. And then Head Seeker, if you wanna use walk around with a more consistent weapon. And for PvE, I would say Golden Tricorn is actually pretty good. Whenever you get a kill, you get a 15% damage boost. And if you get like a kill with a matching grenade or power melee, it brings that up to a 50% damage boost, which is just insane. Golden Tricorn is pretty good for PvE. So is collective action. Collective action is like 20% in PvE, and there's gonna be just elemental pickups all over the place in PvE, meaning that collective action is pretty much on all the time. And lastly, we have something like Hatchling. Hatchling is going to be really good for your strand builds. Any of these 3 perks are pretty much going to be pretty good for PvE. So take your pick on those perks, but whichever you choose, they're going to be good for PvE. Now when it comes to the god rules, this is how mine would look like. For the Crucible, we have the Fluted Barrel, Ricochet Rounds, Keep Away, and Desperado, but you could also trade out Desperado for Headseeker, you want a bit more consistency. But for 6v6, I would say Desperado is definitely going to be the play. And for PvE, I would do the Fluted Barrel with an Appended Mag, with Slice and Hatchling. I love that Slice Hatchling combo, especially on my strand builds. Which is probably like the time that I would use this pulse rifle in PvE. So this would be like perfect for it. So that's what I would go for. But like I said before, PvE, for the second slot, any of those perks would pretty much work. Let me know in the comments below what would be your go-to god rule, what is the god rule that you're looking for, or maybe you want to tell me about a perk that I didn't really mention, just let me know that in the comments below. But now let's move on to actually talking about the weapon and having a mini review about it. So the Aishas, I've seen a lot of different mixed opinions on this weapon, but my opinion is that I actually like the weapon. I do feel like they can be a little bit unforgiving, they do heavily rely on headshots, so you miss a headshot, your TTK will shoot up quite a lot. But I do feel like this one feels really good, and thanks to the origin trait and all the other perks that we can get, we can increase the stability quite a bit, making it really easy to hit those headshots just in a row and reach the optimal TTK fairly easily. Between this pulse rifle and the raid one, I would actually prefer this one for Crucible. It just feels a lot better. And the sight on it is amazing. I really like the sight on it. Overall, I had a pretty fun time with the different roles that I use. I use one with Send Moment, I use one with Keep Away, I use Kill Clip, I use Desperado. Overall, Desperado definitely felt amazing. If you want to melt somebody, Desperado's gonna be the way to go. Kill Clip, I also thought it was pretty okay. Kill Clip, I also thought was pretty okay on this weapon. Maybe not as good as Desperado, but definitely still a pretty good perk. But overall, I'm very happy with this pulse rifle. I feel that it will take a little bit to get used to, especially if you haven't used 2-burst pulse rifles, but I think you'll learn to love it. It is a very nice feeling pulse rifle once you get used to it. And it also has got some fantastic perks. It's got so many good Crucible perks. And, well, I didn't really use it in PvE as much as I did in the Crucible. The couple of times that I played with it, I still liked it. I had one with Slice, and it seemed to be doing pretty well with like the build that I was running. Overall, I think that the pulse rifle is actually good. I know maybe that's not the opinion that everyone has, but I like the pulse rifle, and I would definitely recommend that you guys go in there and get one and try it out for yourself. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, and if you don't end up liking it in the Crucible, maybe it'll still serve a purpose to you in PvE. But anyways, with that, we're gonna end today's video. I appreciate everyone stopping by. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, also let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.